This celebration would not only be a moment of rejoicing, but also a moment of reflection and introspection.
On the contrary, we need ECOWAS more. On the contrary, we need ECOWAS more than ever to meet the challenge of unfiltered data, unregulated cryptocurrency, AI, climate change, organized crime, cyber slavery and human trafficking, and violent extremism.
Today, we have gathered here to celebrate 5 decades of regional solidarity, of standing side by side through times of hope and hardship, of building the most integrated regional economic community on the African continent. Today, ECOWAS represents more than an institution. It is a symbol of the enduring aspiration of over 400 million citizens.
President Bola Tinubu
in the government, but the military are making sure that we do things democratically, but militarily democratic.
50 years after the ECOWAS Treaty was signed by 15 countries, 3 countries have opted out of the regional bloc due to political disagreements. Beyond commemorating a treaty that was signed in 1975 establishing ECOWAS, there are deeper issues now affecting the regional bloc, such as poor education, healthcare, insecurity, and the big elephant in the room, which is unconstitutional takeover of government. The regional bloc will have to deal with these issues affecting cooperation and integration in West Africa. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Lagos.
Director, Center for Democratic Development, West Africa, Dauda Garuba, joins me on the news at 10. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. The ECOWAS that we want to have. It has always regenerated itself as an organization. We know where we are coming from, especially from 1975 when the organization was formed. And we also know when those challenges of starting from 1989 started, and now ECOWAS was able to redefine itself, leveraging the 1993 revised treaty. We've got it to that crossroads again where, within the context of global development, we need to sit down and ask ourselves, we have to redefine this organization in a way that will be useful for the entire sub-region moving forward.
And I like that you use the word regenerate. It's like some reptiles that they shed their skin as it starts to grow old, just to regenerate itself. Because some people believe that ECOWAS has plateaued in terms of its achievements, and perhaps it's time to go back to the drawing board and create a new set of objectives. I just also want to get your thoughts on that, because now there was some sort of declaration again today reenacting that treaty. What more should ECOWAS be doing now?
Well, I think within the context of the current challenges, we've seen, for instance, let's take a look at some of the very central issues that ECOWAS was able to achieve within the context of, talking of life between the end of the Cold War and the Cold War. At the end of the Cold War, we saw a deployment of troops in countries like Liberia. And for us, that was the first you could see globally that a regional organization is able to deploy armed forces that are able to guarantee regional security. And ECOWAS led the way by way of I mean, in terms of for the United Nations to address complex emergencies, challenges after the Cold War. In that context, I think ECOWAS was able to stand the test of time. And also, we had a development of workable security management mechanism that ECOWAS had put in place. In fact, it was at the end of the Cold War and the Sierra Leonean War that the African Union decided to adopt the policy of keeping what is today known as the African Standby Force, learning from the experiences of that we need to be focusing as we move forward.
Basically just human-centered policies. Thank you so much for your time. Director, Center for Democratic Development, West Africa, Dauda Garuba. Pleasure to have you on.
Center for Democracy and Development.
Thank you,
Please.
Center for Democracy and Development. Thank you.